case.
Yeah.
So you do have to have.
You just need a second.
A second egress.
Yeah.
But that could be a window.
Nope, it has to be a means of, it has to be an egress.
An actual egress.
Yeah, so,
Some windows would qualify though, right? If they were like the
Big enough and
big enough.
in a
Certain,
basement,
yeah, I mean, you'd
you
have
would have to have a daylight basement to qualify for, it. yeah.
Right, okay.
a box that window or something,
Other than that, you have to have those escape wells if you don't want to use a bulkhead.
right?
And you might as well put the doghouse on the bulkhead instead of putting the escape well, because now you're gonna keep that shoveled out.
Doghouse over that too.
mower.
Thanks for that.
But now you also have to insulate the foundations too. And the slabs.
Construction costs are gonna go through the roof. Any other thoughts on this application?
I don't know what he mentioned.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Every
I would
time.
assume our next move would be to vote if we want to approve it.
Right.
Ask the lawyer.
I think the select board should do that because they're gonna be the ones to accept it and assess a fee to it. Unless you guys think did we secure it? I know they were talking, I'm not
I
sure.
think
They made a vote, I'm not sure if they've signed the retain or not.
they sent approval to one of the lawyers.
Yeah, I saw that on the town meeting, but then I got cut off.
So they reached out to one. I don't know how that worked yet.
Somebody named Cam, I believe that law firm was the one that you decided to go with. I didn't hear the name of the firm though.
I don't.
I got an email yesterday, but I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, I don't know if he's accepted.
They voted and approved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just haven't heard when he started working.
All right.
Good. I think send up.
This is very comparable to like 9 other municipalities that I reviewed their permits. I mean, I believe, from the rationale, I only talked to someone I know in Westbrook, the rationale for why it has the potential to stop with the CEO rather than go forward is that a lot of change of uses, it was a time and efficiency. The select board may want it to go all the way to us automatically every time, but
Oh, I see. Sure. Okay.
But a regular business that comes before us that fits the zoning ordinance, it wouldn't come before us if it fit the zoning ordinance, so. Like any business, rather.
Motion to approve this change of use of application that we have before us.
Can't add a.
Can at a
We have to
workshop.
vote at the meeting,
Yeah.
but I would just as soon let you do it, so we can get that off the table.
Let's go with it.
All right, so process and procedures. One of the things I think that we ought to plan on doing for our workshop, and I was mentioning it to Desiree because of the length of it, is we have to make sure that we're working in conjunction with the comprehensive plan. So at some point, we're gonna need to review our ordinances against the comprehensive plan, and my suggestion is that we take some time and we split those sections up like we did before. Somebody takes a certain section of the ordinance, a certain section of the comprehensive plan and go through them so that we're working cohesively.
Yep.
But I do think we should get clarification on which one holds the weight. Is it the ordinance or the plan, or is it I mean, I agree that they should both be in conjunction with each other, but until that is rectified, which one holds the weight, Desiree? We might want to ask the MMA that.
We can do that, and don't forget, you can reach out to SFPDC.
Either one. Do you want to send them an email?
I mean, you guys will have to vote at the meeting to
Okay.
decide if you want to go that route, but they just went through the ordinance, 2 years ago, to update it, so knowing that we have an updated comp plan and that they already have, the ordinance on their side, it should be a fairly easy thing for them to, say even easy, but
Well, the comp plan really doesn't have ordinances in it,
And it's policies.
it's policy.
So from the language, I would assume that an ordinance holds more weight than a policy.
but the ordinance should be,
There have been times in this room that applicants or people in the general public have made comments about the comp plan versus the ordinance. So whether we draw our ordinances in line with the comp plan, I just think we should make sure we're on the right step so that we're not misguiding people.
The other suggestion that I didn't think of at the time, but maybe we should have a note on there that any reference from the comp plan to the ordinances should be checked before. In other words, somehow you have to go to the planning board
Right.
to get this thing done, and we should have a note on the front of it saying any subject requiring, ordinances should be subjected to the planning
To
board.
the planning board.
That's, would be my suggestion at this point.
I mean, the new comp plan does list out fairly clearly what it suggests, the duties of what boards are what. So that does help give a little bit of a guideline. Doesn't necessarily mean that we do it how that says. So I think maybe at the next meeting, we make a motion to just double check that before we put a lot of hours into it. We need to reevaluate our ordinances anyway, which we knew we were gonna have to. They were partially done. No, I think we did them all and started reviewing them, and then we stopped because of the comp plan. And the board members have changed since then, so I'm not sure. It's probably gonna have to start from scratch.
Which is why I suggested SMPDC.
Yeah.
Just because that's what they're there for, and I mean, a couple of you are retired, a couple of you are working still, so,
Yep.
you know.
No, because it was a long process of reading through all of those and making edits and,
The comp,
but we did make some changes with our 2024 ordinances that are up there already.
Yes, so, the big thing that SMPDC did with us was the LD 2003 for the accessory
Right.
dwellings. That was a big thing, getting that added in and with what the recommendations were for that. So that was the big update last time.
And the only major change in town since the comp plan was the cannabis ordinance,
Right.
which the comp plan does address that as a planning board duty, but the selectmen did that, not us. So, nor did they go by any of our recommendations to the changing of the wording. So I just think we should make sure we have our ducks in a row so that no one's appealing on the basis that it doesn't match that.
is, Desiree, if you want to purchase some ink for the printer in the office would be helpful, because they're always complaining about the ink. I don't know if we have enough ink. I said, well, we have money, to do that with, but
I think all the boards should have a hard copy of the comp plan. And because of the maps and such, and it should be color, so maybe that's something we also need to make a vote on at the next meeting to figure out whose budget they come out of. Does that come out of what's left of the comp plan budget? Does it come off the planning board budget?
there's money there.
Yep.
Whether or not they have sold it to something else.
What about the shoreline? Did you ever want to take the shoreline out of the,
So that, I think, was our total goal, was to pull shoreland as a third book.
is that something SMPDC could do then?
Fourth book technically. Does
Or-
the other subdivision,
Ordinance, subdivision, shoreland, and what am I missing?
the comp plan.
The comp plan.
It'd be four separate books.
Books.
Because I think the comp plan is pretty weak on shoreland. We were just dabbling in that.
So so that's another workshop item, is we can start reviewing that and maybe shoreland.
I don't know,
But we can talk to SMDPC and see if they can help us pull that material out easier.
Yeah, somebody who knows Microsoft Word, because certainly I don't.
Well, it should be reviewed every
Not
5
alone.
years.
I mean, I don't mind going through and pulling the shoreland sections out, and then we can look at our other ordinances. I think you've already sent me a Microsoft version once, but I don't know if I can find it.
so I would honestly ask Aaron, because I think Aaron was working on that.
I remember we did, but I wasn't sure if we tabled it.
Right, I don't know how far we got, so I would actually ask Aaron
Yeah, well, I mean,
what he has.
yeah, we could do that and see where he's at with it. But again, if it needs any editing, I don't know who's got the strong suit for that.
Well, Aaron did it all because he was really good at it, so.
Yeah.
And yeah, that, like you said, SMPDC is already gonna pull the ordinances and work on aligning them to the comp plan and ask them to do that too.
I'm gonna write Aaron an email if you guys don't mind, just to ask him if he has a copy, if he did that.
Yeah.
So is your motion still on the table?
There's no motion, we can't vote,
Can't vote, so there is no motion. I have no motion.
but we can add it to the agenda.
There's a motion.
I don't know if you want to stick it under new business.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had it on the agenda recently.
Usually Roger.
My email was very simple, just so anybody's curious. It just says, I know you're taking the charge of separating shoreland from our standard ordinance book on the planning board. How far along did you get, and would you mind sharing that work? Yeah. Boom, bidi, boom. We already covered item C. Is there any other processes or procedures anyone wants to discuss tonight?
I'd like to know what goes up on the website, the town website. Do all the applications go up on the town website? How does that work?
All the site plan applications go up on the town website. I don't know if they're up to date. And that's the girls in the office, right? Danielle and
Yeah, so.
Renee.
So the three current applications that'll be before you in April, I signed them tonight, scanned them tonight, they'll be emailed to the office, and they'll post them when they have time tomorrow.
I think it's a little clunky, if I remember right, to find that, but
We do have a new website coming, hopefully, I
I knew
think
that.
in a month. Which if that does happen, I can post up to the website. So as soon as I get it and scan it, I can start posting to the website.
So you do all the scanning?
I do this, so the office scans it to me so that I have it. These ones were way too large for me to print at home, so I didn't make a special trip up to sign them. So I signed them when I got here tonight, scanned them, I'll send them over, email to the office for them to upload to the website.
Okay,
and I'm looking at it right now, so all the applications are uploaded, or previous applications are uploaded, minutes are on there,
So-
agendas. It looks like they're on there all the way back to 2020 on this website.
Is it under phones?
It's under the departments. There's a link to our bylaws, our ordinances.
so to be clear, you do the original scanning? That's what I know, because I'm hearing a lot of stuff from the office. It's overburdened with scanning stuff in.
So usually when they get an application, they scan it to me so that I'm aware of it.
Okay,
Because certain applications, like site plan review applications, the abutters notices have to go out pretty much as soon as I get them to make sure that abutters notices go out before the next meeting. For the conditional use permits, the application process is different. You get the application, you have a meeting, you schedule a public hearing. When a public hearing is scheduled, then the abutters notices go out, which is how I would like to see everything done, but that's my opinion. So they scan it to me so I can start working on the application. And again, I'm not gonna make a special trip up to the office to sign it and scan it
right,
when it's received at the office.
okay.
I don't think you really wanna pay me to come up here.
Well, I don't pay you,
Well,
so.
well, technically you're due, your tax dollars pay me to do my job. But most applications are received, we have a workshop pretty much every month. If I can get up here before we have a workshop, great. I don't mind doing stuff during the week if I'm already over here. But usually at the workshop, I get everything together, I sign everything, I scan it, and send it over to the office to get it posted on the website. And again, so when the new website is up, they can just email me and say the application is here, and you can come in, but again, we run into, I don't have time to be coming over to the office every day that we get an application or anything like that.
Right, I understand.
Wouldn't it be better for the applicant to be able to have a personal touch on these applications? You know,
Scan their own.
done for the
Scan their own,
application.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot of work for the office, I don't know.
The application process is that the site plan goes to the CEO. The CEO reviews it, accepts it, decides if it's ready to go to the planning board. The CEO then hands it to the office who takes the payment.
Okay, Well,
And once they
CEO would
take
make
the
a
payment, they send it to me, so that I'm notified that I have the application, that the application's come in, that it's in time, ready to be on the next agenda.
Because if they don't have that little extra touch, it could be another month before they even get it.
Been there, done that.
Because they said, well, I didn't know I needed that. Well,
Right.
Well, any applicant is supposed to meet with the CEO, because the CEO needs to review and accept the application to move it forward to the planning board.
okay, so we can blame Jesse.
But also applicants that come before us that don't have the CEO's approval, we shouldn't be hearing because they haven't followed the process.
Yeah, if we get an application that doesn't have Jesse's signature on it, or Eric's for that matter, it shouldn't go to the office, it shouldn't be accepted, because the application process in the ordinance states that it must go to the CEO, just like appeals and variance applications. They go to the CEO for review. If the CEO feels that there's enough information there that it can move forward to the planning board, he then takes it to the office, hands them the check from the applicant. They sign the application, they take the payment, and they send it to me.
Technically, it says he's gotta check it for completeness before it comes to us,
Technically.
technically, but that's never happened.
Still has to be accepted here.
Right, right.
I mean, he can tell the applicant, and he has, that I think that you're ready, I don't.
Don't foresee any issues,
But then
right?
when you guys get to it, we need this, or this isn't in detail enough, or
Exactly.
something like that.
The burden falls on the applicant to
The burden.
submit a complete application.
Yep.
That's basically what the board's here for. Make sure that it is complete.
Yep.
Yeah, just checking.
All right. Any other discussion on current ordinances or proposed ordinances we want to have this evening? Or processes and procedures, other than make people scan their own stuff?
Okay, so that is an option, but it still needs to be signed.
Exactly, and also we have to remember that people don't always have the access to do that, and I don't think we have the access here to provide them the ability to do that.
I don't believe.
So before we take that leap, which I'm sure we would be one of the first people to do that, we would have to have like a public access point.
And honestly, like the planning board email does receive applications, but then I tell the person, whoever it is, I'm like, thank you for that application. I'm happy to see all the info and start working on a butters notices, but it has to go to Jesse, or if it's been to Jesse and it has his signature, it has to go to the town office because they have to take the payment. So I am happy to take a scanned copy directly from the applicant,
Right.
but once it's in the hands of the clerks that have taken the payment, it really shouldn't go back to the applicant at that point. It should go from the clerk's hands to my mailbox or my desk.
I have kind of an off-the-walls situation, but a suggestion. Is there a way an applicant who is working under a stressed timeline, especially with the weather conditions that we have around here, to be able to promote a meeting, extra meeting? I know this is off the wall, but I mean, if he was willing to pay for the ads in the paper and possibly, I don't know.
Desiree, correct me if I'm wrong, but the board does have the right to call a special meeting if they so choose, correct?
So,
I'm looking at the bylaws right now, but I'm trying to.
It does say we can.
yeah, so it'd be special meetings, but it would have to be called by the chairperson,
Great.
or, so the chairperson shall call a special meeting within 10 days of receipt of a written request from any 3 members of the board, which
Okay.
request shall specify the matter to be considered. So the other thing is special meetings may be called by the chairperson. At least 48 hours written notice of the time, place, business of the meeting shall be given to each board member, the select people, code enforcement officer, and notification to the public. So
So the board members, 3 board members can force the special meeting, or the chairperson can call one 48 hours in advance for any reason? Because there's no listed reason?
No extenuating circumstances or anything?
it doesn't say.
I don't plan on doing it, but I'm just curious.
I mean,
I've riled enough feathers, I'm good.
In case if you get lonely.
Yeah, I just, I'm bored and, I have the day off, which is never gonna happen, so.
When I first started, we tried to call a special meeting and the selectman, who wasn't a selectman at the time, asked why we were calling a special meeting for that matter.
But it doesn't matter, does it?
As long as the chairperson or the three members ask.
Everybody's in agreement.
So if someone came before us with extenuating circumstances for a review of an application,
It was time
and I saw that and I deemed fit, or if these three members deemed fit, they could write me an email and then I would have to do it. Or I could just say, guys, we're gonna have the special meeting due to the extenuating circumstances.
Right. I mean, I feel like it would fall in the same, like you guys did the site walk, even though it was after December 1st and you guys. Was it-
We want to just be able to see the seasonal effects. And they stunk.
Yeah, they did.
And again, I was not given a piggyback, which I asked for 3 times on the way out
I'm
of there.
sorry. I'm too out of shape.
Well,
That was my point, so was I.
I just remember that, that one meeting we had with the couple that's down on 25, elderly couple that had to get, variance on that piece of land, and it took them over 2 years.
Well, we also had one time, I'm not sure if I was a member yet. I think I was attending a meeting that they didn't call a special meeting, but they did waive the timeline for hearing about a burial of someone that was passing away on private property.
Yeah.
That was pre my time, but I mean, the woman showed up and, her mother was passing away any moment. And the board did take it into consideration that night and vote on it. So I do think the board does have some leeway in that matter.
Right. I mean, I guess
I think we'd get riled up a lot if we did it on a regular basis from the public, because we do want to give the public a chance for input.
right. And I guess it would be like a case by case, what is the extenuating?
Would we have time to advertise it in 2 forms, with one posting in the town hall, one online? Would that satisfy legal requirements for advertising?
So in the case of a special meeting, I believe all you have to do is notify the Shoppers Guide. I don't think it actually has to be published. I would have to double check on that. But I remember my last couple months at Sebago, they had that happen a couple of times. And it was, as long as the media was notified, it didn't matter that it was advertised.
Yeah, check.
But their ordinances say specifically the media, because our ordinances only say 2 places. It doesn't say specifically where.
Right.
So if we were to hang one, if we were to go extenuatingly, if we had this opportunity to do this, we could go to the library, the town hall, the post office, and post a notice and post it on Facebook and the website, and we would have more than met the requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you need at least 2 weeks for that?
To post a poster?
Yeah.
How slow do you drive?
Well,
So
If you-
it's 48 hours written notice.
For a special meeting, we could do it within 48 hours, as long as we do it in writing. So I guess do they consider online in writing?
I mean, that's kind of a.
Still in writing.
Nowadays. I mean, if you posted here at the town office, on the website, on Facebook, and then you went as far as to post at the post office and the library, and you sent an email to your weekly Shoppers Guide, just letting them know, that there was a special meeting happening, I think that would cover everything. As long as the circumstances were listed properly.
That's good to know. Next question.
no donuts.
We were voted down on donuts. They're not in our budget. You could solicit donuts to see if they'll start donating them.
Have
to
enough
us.
sugar there.
That's it. I'm not supposed to have sugar. Diabetic.
All right. Reminders. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks, and it looks like we're gonna have a pretty full plate that night. So I prepare to be here from those 3 piles or 2 piles that are 3 applications. Are we only 3 applications? And our deadline closes,
So our deadline closed technically Monday.
so it's just those 3 items are the only 3 on our docket, correct?
So we have those and we have Loon Point.
Oh, Sam Park,
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming back with
It's
his
come back with a
items.
couple things.
Yeah. Loon Point.
That one will be
Yes.
bad.
So we'll hit Sam first and then do the other 3.
Right.
Are we listing them on the agenda based on submission dates and times?
That's normally how I do it.
Okay.
Basically,
Well, my question, I guess, bases around, I know that these applications, I'm assuming, are all cannabis related.
Correct.
And at some point, the town hall is gonna have to decide because of their decision to limit applications versus the number of applications, but instead by geographical location, if people are vying for the same neighborhood, how are they going to, which is not our purview, but I'm just curious, how are they gonna decide on who gets the license if we approve, say we approve 3 people on Elm Street? Yeah,
Spin the wheel, I don't know.
Come from south.
yeah, I mean, I would assume it would have to be done on a basis of fairness of what was submitted when, so I think we should hear them in the same order. Again, I'm putting the cart before the horse, I'm not saying that's an issue before everybody starts writing emails in. But some of these things keep me up at night wondering what's gonna come up next. I'll be curious, maybe I'll pop into the next selectee meeting and ask that question. All right, and you've got our items about a letter to MMA or SMDPC, an email, and then we'll vote on this application and send it to the select board. So that's, we're not formalizing it till the select board okays it, I guess, or does their comments and assesses a fee to it.
Fees.
I'll put it on letterhead, change that from town to state.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, cool. Should probably talk to the town that I stole that wording from and tell them they got their wording wrong. So then I guess I just need a motion for adjournment. Anybody has nothing else?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Adjourned at 6:38. I guess.
I have a question though. What's the hierarchy